Jim Monahan along with Chris Swendeman, another 2 Minute Drill podcast. And Chris, before we get going on some of the stuff we want to talk about this week, I have a rather philosophical question for you to start.
Ooh, getting deep right off the bat. Like it.
When was the last time you changed a brand? Something that you always went to one product for, one company for, and you decided, oh, I'm changing.
I mean, technically, we can say when I ditched the Cowboys, but I don't think that's exactly what you're looking for
No,
here.
not necessarily. I mean,
I,
that's along those lines. Yeah, you went to the Bills this past NFL season.
I'd probably say if otherwise from that, I'd probably say when I cut the cord from cable.
Okay. Interesting you say that because that is what MLB is in the process of doing. And it starts Wednesday night. Well, it's actually been going on for a while, but in terms of the
Right.
2026 season, it starts Wednesday night with the opening game of the regular season on Netflix.
Yeah. I, I'm going to sound like the guy that's going to tell you to get off his lawn, but being a huge baseball fan, when I want to see the Yankees on opening night, I want to see them with their home announcers. I want to hear Michael Kay or, I want to see them on the Yes Network. Netflix to me, it's great for specialty games, but not baseball home opener is, the opening day of baseball is sacred. Eh, To me, it feels hokey.
Well, what they're doing is they're attempting to reach a younger, broader, and more mainstream audience, he said by reading the press release,
Yeah.
by leveraging, that's a big word for me, leveraging the streaming platform's massive global reach. And if you think about what's happened over the past few years, whether it's with television series that have moved to Netflix or different special events, that's what Major League Baseball's doing. And one of the reasons why they can get away with this is I already have my favorite team. You have your favorite team or teams, as the
Yep.
case may be, right? And we're going to
Right.
stay with it. You have your own beer brand by now. You may have an automobile brand, the detergent that you use in your home, the shampoo,
Right.
all of it. We're set in our ways by the time we get to this age. If you're in that late teens, early to mid 20s age group, but you've probably already cut the cord and
True.
you're used to doing stuff like Netflix.
Right. It it seems like it just to me it just doesn't feel right for some reason. It, it you've I guess we've like you said we've grown up with things a certain way. Now everything has been cut, cut the cord. Everything is all these different platforms. You can watch the game on now, and it just for the consumer, for me, it just seems like it's splitting in too many different ways. And for the opening night of baseball, I feel like you should have the option at least to watch your home team with their, normal broadcast.
I think television as an industry is going through many of the same changes that radio as an industry is going through. A lot of younger people say they don't listen to the radio.
Right.
Statistics prove otherwise, by the way. They may not admit to it, but they're listening to the radio.
Right.
And I think the same thing is happening with TV. And, no matter what you're watching, and you and I watch series like Landman, which is not
Yep.
on network television,
True.
but we're watching it on TV. So, hey, what's on TV tonight? Well, we've got literally thousands of choices these days. What was
Right.
the Springsteen song? 57 channels.
Good.
We're
And
long
nothing's
past
on.
57
Yeah.
channels these days. And, a younger consumer, this is normal for them. This is absolutely normal. So, in terms of radio, if you're listening to a podcast while you're driving, you turn the radio on to do it. If you're listening to a
Hmm.
satellite broadcast, you're turning the radio on in the vehicle. If you're listening to Spotify in your vehicle, you're
Yep.
turning the radio on. So you're still using the radio per se, just as you're still using the
Right.
television, but you're going about it in a different way. And, one of the things that Rob Manfred has done and we've talked about this off and on, is he is trying to speed the game up and make it more appealing to a younger generation. How do you do that? Well, there's any number of different ways. And by all rights, if you look at what happened with the World Baseball Classic in terms of television ratings,
Mm,
if you look at the ratings for Game 7 last year of the World Series, if you look at the ratings for the postseason overall, you can see like baseball is increasing in terms of that.
right.
It's getting a higher national slash international profile. And it's being done in a way that I think is starting to appeal to younger people. They're used to getting, their highlights by using a cell phone device or some kind of a mobile device.
Right.
Baseball is, clearly going in more of that direction. And we already, again, we're set in our ways. We've hit a certain age. We are set in our ways. Okay, I can't watch the Yankees on the Yes Network for opening day,
Right.
but I know I'll be there the next day and the day after that. That sort of thing. So they are appealing to a different demographic, a different audience, and in the long run, I think it benefits them.
I mean, think of in a week, I may flip. This is just for my baseball schedule alone, watching games. Now, I also do fantasy baseball, so I'm very into teams from, and I know that's not necessarily the norm, but guys my age, it's kind of what we do for the most part. Um, Not only, are we invested in our team, but if you play fantasy baseball, you're looking at other, box scores and games. So on any given week, I could watch the Yankees on Yes Network one night. Wednesday night, they could be on Amazon. Friday night, they might be on Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV. Sunday, they could be on NBC for the new NBC Sunday Night Baseball. And now you have Netflix in there. It's a lot, but I know that MLB is trying to get on as many platforms, much like the NFL's model, and you also have MLB TV. So if you're not a fan of, all right, just use here locally, like for you, you could watch every game for the Red Sox on MLB TV, but actually you can't because there are some games that are going to be broadcast on these other platforms. So for the majority, you could watch MLB TV and stream, but there are other times when you're going to need other platforms if you want to watch really every game, if you're that hardcore, diehard, baseball fan. So it's like, I just feel like sometimes it's overwhelming to see all of it and be like, what channel? What, like for us, what channel are they on tonight? And it's really what platform now, as they really, just the game goes into this metamorphosis of, where to watch it and how to watch it.
Well, I'll be the guy saying, you can stay on my lawn, but just clean it up when you're done.
Get the leaves off, will you?
Hey, you know what? Spring training was relatively quiet this year. There wasn't a lot of noise coming out of pretty much anywhere these days. And, I think I'm looking at the Yankees, and I know the fans are going to get all up in arms if they don't get off to a big start out of the gate. But with the
Right.
way the playoffs work this year, and they've got two pretty good arms coming back towards the, third month of the season by June. Garrett Cole's
Probably
going
by
to be
June,
a
right?
pretty nice late May, early June pickup. Carlos Rodon, all you got to do is keep this thing close. And you're picking up two
Right.
guys without a trade, without spending any extra money. I mean, if you're a Yankee fan, you got to be feeling pretty positive, even if they get off to a slow start out of the gate, which, by the way, I fully expect them to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have a lot to be excited about from the pitching standpoint. Max Fried is a stud. Love Max Fried. I think he's going to keep them. He's going to be the anchor for them until Cole gets back and up to speed, and Rodon as well. Cam Schlittler. There's a lot to be excited the way he ended the season. We'll see where he is in year two. And Ryan Weathers is, if he could stay on the mound, the greatest ability Jim, as you know, for pitchers is availability.
Hmm.
And Ryan Weathers has had an injury history when he played for the Marlins. Hopefully, maybe he takes a step forward with the Yankees this year. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring. And Will Warren. So that's how it's going to start out. Well, what they do with Lewis Heel will be interesting to see, and we'll kind of go from there, muddle their way through for the first couple months until Cole and Rodon get back. But I think their hitting hopefully will carry them through. But it's going to be a question mark, and we'll see. But I think Caballero starting at short, I like that move. I like it a lot, and I'm interested to see what he does.
And as far as heel goes, I'm in favor of what they've done here because in the first few weeks you only need four starters. So
Right,
he's probably going to waste his time. Let's get him some work down at AAA. It's not the worst thing that could happen. And again, he'll be back up. There's no question in
right.
my mind that Heel will be in the Yankee pitching staff before too much longer of the season.
Right. And I mean, imagine going to see the Yankees farm team, the AAA team. Could you imagine you're going to see players like Spencer Jones, Lewis Heel, Jason Dominguez, who just got sent down. Volpe's going to be there soon, training, or maybe he might start at actually Somerset,
Yeah, I don't know.
depending.
I don't know where they'll
I
start him. It'll
Yeah, they haven't really said, but either way, you're going to see. I mean, guys that have been with the Yankees for a few, for at least a couple years. That's going to be an interesting team to watch because they just don't have room for everybody right now. Randall Grichuk, who they picked up in the offseason in a trade, there, he made the team, um, and that was a little bit of a surprise. I thought Waldo Cabrera would make the team, but he's not going to be with the team to start. They have a lot of options. This team, once they get going, and if things don't work, I think you'll see some of those players getting called back up for sure.
One last thing I wanted to touch on before we sign off, and that was the flag football game over the weekend, which I did not watch the game, but I did see some highlights. And I have to admit, watching Tom Brady throw to Diggs and then to Gronkowski was pretty wild. And you also got a feel for how different NFL is. I don't just mean from contact, but I
Right,
mean from the style, the way the game is played,
right.
versus the guys who play flag football. It's an art unto itself.
It really is. I mean, the highlights that I saw were kind of cool to watch. I mean, it didn't really look like they were in the LA soccer stadium for the LA Galaxy, I believe, where they were playing the game. I mean, watching Brady is mind blowing because at 48 he looks like he's 28.
Right?
The way he's throwing the ball, like he could still compete if it really came down to one game. Um, you see Gronk and all these other guys. If I'm a Cincinnati Bengal fan, though, the one thing that really stuck out to me, I'm watching Joe Burrow take off and run down the field. If I'm a Bengal fan, I'm going like this, covering my eyes and not looking. That dude gets hurt playing in the regular season. You want him throwing this on top of it? If I'm Cincinnati Bengals owners, the Brown family, I'm sitting there going, no, 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 no. We need to stop this somehow because you don't. The last thing you want is, and much like the World Baseball Classic, you don't want your start. You want them to shine, but you also don't want them getting injured because that would be the worst thing that could possibly happen. And especially in a flag football game, that's just, a precursor basically to getting everybody revved up and jazzed up about flag football in the Olympics for 2028. That would be the worst possible scenario. One of these really big name players getting hurt. If Brady gets hurt, all right. If Gronk gets hurt, no biggie. If Joe Burrow or somebody that's playing now gets injured, that's that hurts the product that's coming for this NFL season, and that's not good.
Who do you think, to go back to baseball now, because by the time we come back on next week, we'll be a few games into the season. Are Yankee fans euphoric or are they ready to just throw the towel in completely? And by the same token, where are Mets fans? Where do you think they'll be a few games into the season?
I mean, Met fans, the misery factor, I always lean on the Met fans for that because they're good for that. If Soto starts off cold, they're going to lose their minds. They go as Soto goes. So where Soto is in all this is, I think, going to dictate where the Mets. If Freddie Peralta doesn't have a good game one, it's over. It's over for you. If actually better, wait. I know what's gonna. Freddie Peralta will throw a good game one for them, and it'll be lost when Devin Williams comes in and blows the save, and Met fans lose their ever loving minds. That's the script I'm gonna write. And
Okay.
Soto's gonna go maybe 1 for 4, and they're gonna lose their ever loving minds. Yankee fans, I think their expectations are seem to be a little lower. So while Yankee fans, we want to get the team off right. If they get off to maybe a 1-3 start, I don't think they're going to be losing their minds, but I think there'll be grumblings. Met fans right out the gate, they are going to lose their minds quicker than Yankee fans.
Well, let me add this to the Met woes. The scenario that you described, and then in Baltimore, Pete Alonso
Oh,
just tees off and comes
your
out of the
home run,
gate
your home
white
run
hot.
leader after 1 week, Pete Alonso for the Baltimore Orioles, and Met fans just absolutely losing it. You could totally write that.
Well, there you go. And that's the 2 minute drill for this week. Like, subscribe, do all of those cool things. Comment if you feel so inclined, and we will talk to you next week. Thanks, Chris.
You got it, Jim. Enjoy the opening week of baseball.